Next up, we're going to talk to Hireology. It's the Great Displacement, a generational opportunity. Ooh, that sounds exciting. So please do me a favor. It's part of the living room rules. You got to make applause like they're your neighbor, your brother, your sister, your family member. Help me and welcome up Adam Robinson, who is the founder and CEO of Hireology. I think they can do better, Adam. Let's go a little more.
It's good. All right. How are we doing? Thank you very much. I was one of those who made it to New Orleans, and 40% of us who made it there, we had a great time. It was a good time. People spent a lot of time in the vendor hall because there's nothing else to do because all the meetings got canceled. So it was a lot of fun. It's great to be here. Welcome to Las Vegas. Welcome to NADA 2026. My name's Adam Robinson. I'm the founder and CEO of Hireology. We work with 1 in 4 car dealers here in the United States to help them hire the staff they need to run their dealerships. So I want to talk a little bit about that today in a talk I call From Headcount to Horsepower. The title of this talk is A Great Displacement, and I want to spend some time talking about labor market statistics, which I know you're all very excited to hear about today. I'm going to show a bunch of graphs. This is data from the St. Louis Fed, so if anyone wants to be a nerd on employment and labor statistics, you go to the St. Louis Fed site and get all kinds of really interesting information. But what you're looking at right now is a graph of the unemployment rate in the United States going back to 1950. Or so. Those gray bars are recessions. It's the historical unemployment rate, and you can see COVID, the COVID spike, the great financial crisis. You can see the September 11th recession from fall of 2000 till the end of 2001, and then before that 1990. What's the first thing you notice about this graph relative to where we are today? It's still pretty good. I mean, we are still in, from a historical standpoint, very low unemployment in the United States. Very low unemployment. So that's important perspective as we continue. The first point I want to make today is that while the unemployment rate is historically still pretty low in the United States, the unemployment rate for entry-level workforce, that is defined as folks entering the workforce, doesn't matter if they have a college degree or not, 18 to 24 years old, entering the workforce for the first time. You notice the difference in the slope of that unemployment rate. Now, we've seen unemployment going up over the last couple of years, but it is most pronounced in the entry-level workforce. Now, who can take a guess? Every vendor on the floor is going to shout these 2 letters in your face for the next 3 days. AI? Yes. You can debate whether or not AI is actually responsible for the rise in the unemployment rate or not. I tend to think it is becoming a pretty big factor. Most businesses are racing to gain efficiency by implementing these tools. Your dealerships or organizations may be doing the same thing. And what is empirically true is you don't need people to do certain things like you used to anymore inside businesses. And this is particularly hitting white-collar workforce. So here is college degree workforce unemployment. It is going up. It is going up at the steepest slope outside of a recession ever. Right? So if you are a parent of a child or children, or your neighbor's kids are asking, Johnny's graduating from high school or college, do you know anywhere? What do you think? And you're going, I don't really know. That's what's going on across the whole United States right now en masse, is every family in the United States is trying to make a couple of decisions. Number one, is it worth it to go to college anymore? Fair question. Is vocational training the path? And underlying all of that is this notion that employment for most folks in the United States feels a lot less stable and a lot less certain than it has in a very long time for an economy that's doing pretty darn well right now by all measures, right? So what is going on here? I think it is a combination of two things. Number one, the economy, while recently picking up, has been fairly sluggish for the last couple of years. And it's been sluggish because of, we had inflation, which led to record high interest rates, and the cost of capital went up. Less buildings were built, less points were open, transactions went way down. I mean, the cost of doing everything went way up. That's starting to come down. But the unemployment rate's still going up. The economy is expanding at a fastest pace it's expanded in since 2021 coming out of COVID. Unemployment's still going up. What's going on? I would argue that's AI related. I think every business in this country is trying to figure out how to do more without the staff that they used to have to carry to do the same amount of work. And it is hitting college degreed, white collar, let's call it future professionals, the hardest. People who, marketing coordinators, assistants, folks in human resources, accounting and finance, consulting, all of those knowledge positions. There is displacement going on right now. And you can see it every day. You open up, I still say when you read the newspaper, we don't do that anymore. When you open up your phone and you read your publication of choice, these are all from the Wall Street Journal. They've been hammering on this every week for the last 6 months. A day doesn't go by you don't see this. And I've actually got to update this slide because Amazon laid off another 18,000 people last week at corporate. So the question is, all right, so if Amazon can lay off 32,000 corporate workers in a 3-month span, the question one is, what were they doing, right? What were 32,000 people doing? They suddenly don't need them anymore. But why is that happening? UPS caught 50,000 people. Verizon sent people into the retail stores as a job opportunity, and if you didn't take it, they gave you the severance package. Tens of thousands of white-collar jobs are disappearing as AI starts to bite. And I was reading one of these articles, and way down below the fold, maybe 1,000 words in, I read this passage, and it really got me thinking about our industry. Meanwhile, and I'll read it to you for effect, opportunities for frontline blue-collar or specialized workers are growing. Companies describe shortages of trade, healthcare, hospitality, and construction employees while pausing hiring for consultants and managers, laying off staff in retail and finance, and deploying AI to do work in accounting and fraud monitoring. The system just feels like it's messed up, says Chris Reed, who is in tech sales, is 33 years old. He's from New Braunfels, Texas. And what did he have to say? He recently took a job selling Toyotas after spending 10 months looking for work. He supports his 3 children. In tech, I'm qualified, I have the experience, I didn't get any of those jobs. What did Reed do? He tried for 10 months to find work, he couldn't find it, he found us. Okay, well you can have 1 or 2 points of view about that statement. Reed thought working in a dealership selling vehicles was a last resort for someone who had a college degree and had been in the workforce for 8 years. Okay, that's one fair interpretation. My interpretation is we have a generational opportunity to make the case for employment in this business in a country where just about everyone is feeling a lot less secure about employment. When was the last time a dealership that wasn't in financial trouble laid off staff? Do dealerships have layoffs? If you show up on time every day, do your job, and you're good at it, you're employed for life. You mean this industry forever. We don't lay people off in this business. Think about that for a second. Okay? We've got this happening. This is the dynamic. Should we send Johnny or Mary to college? What are we going to do? Where is stable employment? How are our children going to make it in this world? What industries have employment stability? And I think of our industry where, name another industry where with a high school education, you can start work within a couple of years. If you're selling vehicles or writing service, be making far above the US median, in many cases well into the 6 figures, having stable employment, and be good to go. Maybe earn equity in a store. Maybe have your name on the sign someday. Maybe create family wealth. What other industry affords that opportunity to high school graduates? What other industry affords that opportunity to anybody? I think automotive retail, and those of you who've heard me over the years, let's say this again, I think is the greatest undersold economic opportunity in the United States. It just is. There's no other industry like it, and I know you all know this because you're in it. But we have a country with a very uncertain workforce, and we are looking for people. We are looking for people. Right now, average dealership turnover, this is actually the 24 NADA workforce study, 34%. But in sales, it's over 70. Right? 34 is a blended rate. Variable turnover is much higher than that. Technicians run 35, 40%. Right? We have the opportunity. Our problem is keeping people in the business. All right? Most dealers are telling us they are understaffed. Severely understaffed is pushing 20%. But, 25, 30% of dealers say I'm fully staffed, and that metric tends to skew towards single point, tier 2 and 3 MSA stores. Urban stores, parts of large groups, everybody's hiring, all right? Here's just technician demand. This is from the TechForce Foundation last year. Say 25 is last year now. We need this many technicians. It's a lot. It's a lot. New positions from growth every year, between 15 and 20,000 every year for the next 5 years. Replacement, because our master techs are all retiring now. Who has your best technician retiring in the next 24 to 36 months? Everybody? Everybody. Everybody has that. And you're just waiting. Oh man, I hope Bob doesn't leave this year. I know it's getting close. What am I going to do? Or what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it, right? So between new and replacement positions from separations, which includes retirements, and then carryover unfilled positions coming into 25, this is what it looks like. Where are we going to find 90,000 people every year? Where are we going to find those people? Well, they're not going to show up trained, but if we start now, I have a pretty good idea where those people might come from. And it may be on the variable side. You can do things like what the Carter Meyer organization does and recruit, which we learned when we met with them. Perfected the art of hiring Texas A&M college grads and turning them into great variable ops employees in their group. They're just great at it. That's their model. It works really well. What's your model? What in your market, what works? What works? How are you going to grow your own? The hardest part we've had for years is we can't get people from outside this industry to apply to jobs in our industry. But guess what? That is changing. And the dollars are there for you to make the investment to work through this change. I mean, based on work from NADA 20 group reporting and their workforce study, the average revenue a technician brings in a day, this is average, I know many of you could be far higher than this, is about $2,100 a day, revenue per tech per day. And most of you, when I talk with you, tell me, we could put, I got 3 bays I could take techs in, 4 bays I could take techs in tomorrow. Well, that's $15,000, dollars a week maybe you could pull differently if you had the staff. 54% of the jobs in our industry stay open for over 30 days. But we have rising unemployment and people looking for stable employment. So what is happening? I'm telling you, I think we're selling it. I think we're selling it wrong. We're underselling the opportunity. Right? So on a per day basis, every day your used vehicle salesperson role goes unfilled, your new vehicle salesperson role goes unfilled, or your tech role goes unfilled, it costs you money. Techs are the most expensive, but every week, it's $5,000 per sales head and just under 15 for a tech. And hiring in our industry has remained flat for the last 4 years almost. 4 years. What is going on? All right. So in 2 minutes, we're going to talk about some of the solution here. The first thing to know, and many of you heard me say this before, jobs are products. And as dealers, we are really good at digitally retailing products and services. That's your core competency. And you got a million vendors on the floor that'll teach you better ways to digitally retail vehicles or service. Well, jobs are products too. We have to digitally retail job opportunity better in this business. Last year, 49% of applicants to the 6,000 or so dealer rooftops we service came from outside the industry. Half. That is the highest we have ever seen it in the 16 years we've been doing this. People are looking for opportunity, for upward mobility, and for stability. And we can offer that, right? But most are just, they don't know what they don't know. They're applying to 30 jobs at a time. People are desperate. It's the Chris Reeds of the world. They're looking. Make a home for them. You have to talk to them about what matters to them. And 2 years ago, last year in New Orleans, for the 6 of you that made this through the snow, I was telling you that what really mattered was career path. That matters, what our applicants are telling us. I want to know the career path and what's in it for me beyond a job. I will tell you in the last 12 months, that dynamic has shifted. The most important thing is stability, employment stability. And they want to know, if I'm going to come work and try this industry out, is this going to be better than getting laid off for the 4th time from that other company, right? Am I going to do this different? Am I going to make the jump? I know some of you may have seen in the Journal last week, there was an editorial in there written by one of their labor market writers that basically said, maybe it's time to give up that white-collar career path and start looking at automotive retail and other industries where there's employment stability, equity opportunity, and upward mobility. We have got to do a better job. And Ford knows this, right? I mean, Jim Farley made headlines in Fortune talking about the 5,000 mechanic jobs they can't fill. I think, and I know I'm out of time, I'm telling you, this is a generational opportunity to make the case for this industry for employment. This AI displacement will impact the country negatively from an employment standpoint, and it will hit the most capable entry-level workers first. And then 4 or 5 years from now, we'll have all new jobs created, and this trough will flatten out. But for the next 3 to 5 years, starting right now, is the opportunity to make the case for this business, because people are looking for an industry like ours where they can do well and they don't have to worry about downsizing, because we don't do that here. We have all the opportunity in the world to offer, and I'd encourage you to think about that over the next 3 days. If you want to talk more about this, we're at booth 4507, and that's my time. Have a wonderful show. Thank you very much.